Welcome to Unbreakable Focus, an original audiobook from Better Life Library. Let me ask you straight up, when was the last time you went an entire hour without checking your phone? No notifications, no scrolling, no background noise hijacking your brain. Let's not sugarcoat it. Your focus didn't collapse. It was hijacked, stolen by billion-dollar companies that profit every single time you tap, swipe, and refresh. But here's the part no one tells you. You can take it back. This book isn't fluff. It's not recycled self-help. It's science-backed, research-driven, brutally practical, built from real neuroscience, backed by people like Andrew Huberman and Cal Newport, designed to help you retrain your brain, not escape the world, but win in it, because this world profits when you can't focus, but your life thrives when you can. And listen, we want to hear from you. Drop a comment on Better Life Library. Tell us what hits. Tell us what doesn't. We read every one. Let us know how the voice sounds to you. Too raw? Not raw enough? Motivating? Relatable? We're listening. Ready to reclaim your mind? Let's build Unbreakable Focus. Introduction: The War for Your Focus. Have you ever opened your phone to check one quick message, only look up 20 minutes later, neck deep in random reels, unread emails, or a Wikipedia rabbit hole about how long squirrels live? You're not alone. Here's the truth. Your attention span didn't collapse. It was stolen, hijacked, fragmented, rerouted into 1,000 digital alleyways, most of them designed to keep you distracted and addicted. And while you're left wondering, why can't I focus anymore? Someone else is cashing in on your wandering mind. This isn't just a productivity problem. It's personal. You feel it, don't you? That subtle frustration. That twitchy impulse to check your phone every few minutes. That inability to finish a page of a book without your mind drifting to notifications, to-do lists, or just one more scroll. You know deep down, your focus used to be stronger. But here's the good news. You're not broken, you're untrained. Focus is not some mythical trait you either have or don't. It's a skill, a muscle, and just like strength, endurance, or flexibility, it can be rebuilt, not with hacks, not with hustle, but with science, strategy, and small, consistent practice. That's what this book is about. We're going to uncover why your attention is under siege and who's profiting from it. We'll expose the psychological warfare behind infinite scroll, multitasking myths, and why your brain is wired to chase novelty even when it hurts you. You'll learn what's actually happening in your brain when you get distracted, how neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine shape your attention, and why your prefrontal cortex is losing the battle to your environment. You'll discover why smartphones are engineered to feel irresistible, how multitasking fractures your ability to think, and how every quick check leaves behind cognitive residue that makes your brain foggy and unfocused. But more importantly, you'll learn how to fight back. From Andrew Huberman's neuroscience protocols to Cal Newport's deep work rituals, from breathwork that resets your focus in 60 seconds to the subtle power of digital dopamine detoxes, this book is your battle plan to reclaim your mind. We'll walk through breath control, environmental design, time blocking meditation techniques, and even the hidden biology of focus rhythms. You'll see how to train your brain for clarity again, not by adding pressure, but by removing sabotage. This isn't a call to become a monk, throw your phone in a lake, or live in a cabin with no Wi-Fi. It's about getting 1% more focused, one day at a time. Imagine what your life could look like if you could really lock in for 60 minutes and crush the task that's been haunting you for weeks. Imagine enjoying a conversation without feeling the phantom buzz of a notification. Imagine reading, thinking, praying, creating without distraction. It's possible. This isn't theory. It's neuroscience. It's backed by studies. It's built from real human experience. And by the end of this journey, you'll have your attention back. So if you're tired of feeling scattered, if you're done being pulled in 100 directions by things that matter less than the life you actually want, then stay with me. We're about to go deep into your habits, your brain chemistry, and your daily rhythms. And we're going to train your focus like a muscle. This book won't give you more hours in the day. It'll give you more life in your hours. Let's get to work. Chapter 1. Stolen focus, the modern attention crisis. When was the last time you read an entire page without your mind drifting? Not just skimming, not just reading the words, but actually taking them in, letting the meaning sink deep uninterrupted? Be honest, because for most of us, something has shifted. We sit down to read, but check our phone before the first paragraph's done. We try to work, but end up with 14 tabs open, none finished. We start conversation, but subtly glance at a notification mid-sentence. It's easy to blame ourselves, to think we've gotten lazy, undisciplined, broken somehow. But that's not the truth. The problem isn't in you, it's around you. We're not dealing with personal failure. We're living in what scientists and thinkers have called an attentional pathogenic culture. That means the very environment we live in, our tech, our pace, our norms, is toxic to focus. Our brains didn't evolve for this. They've been hijacked. In fact, there's a term for it. Continuous partial attention. It's when your brain is constantly scanning, checking, splitting, but never deeply settling on anything. It feels like multitasking, but it's actually mental fragmentation. And over time, it rewires your brain. We live in a state of digital overwhelm. The average person switches between tasks every 47 seconds when on a screen, down from 2.5 minutes just 20 years ago. That's not a typo. That's data from Dr. Gloria Mark, who studied human-computer interaction for decades. We're not focusing less because we lack character. We're focusing less because we've been conditioned to expect constant novelty. Here's the stat you've probably heard. The human attention span is now shorter than a goldfish's. Just 8 seconds. It's catchy, alarming, easy to quote. But it's also mostly misinterpreted marketing fluff from a Microsoft study that got taken way out of context. Real scientists like Patty Shank and Wilson and Korn have clarified there's no universal 8-second limit. Human attention is contextual. You can focus for 2 hours at the movies, but struggle to finish an email. It's not your capacity that changed, it's the conditions. Still, the myth caught on. Why? Because we feel it. We know we can't sit still like we used to. We know our minds bounce between texts, feeds, tasks. We know something's wrong. And even if the goldfish comparison isn't technically accurate, the underlying point lands hard. Focus is failing. Journalist Johann Hari puts it bluntly in his book Stolen Focus. Your attention didn't collapse. It was stolen. He's not being dramatic. He spent 3 years digging into this topic. And what he uncovered is chilling. From tech companies optimizing your distraction to environments designed to pull you in every direction, our attention isn't just disappearing. It's being engineered away. We check our phones before we even get out of bed. We scroll while watching TV. We respond to pings and buzzes like lab rats waiting for a treat. And slowly, we lose something more than just time. We lose presence. Let's be clear. This chapter isn't about making you feel guilty. It's about naming the enemy. Because if we don't name it, we can't fight it. You're not weak. You're not lazy. You're not hopeless. But you're living in an environment where focus has become a competitive disadvantage, and distraction has become the default. This isn't just about productivity, either. Focus isn't only for work. It's for life. When you can't focus, you miss the moment. You're with your partner, but your mind's on your inbox. You're at your kid's game, but you're mentally checking Slack. You're alive, but you're absent, and that absence takes a toll. On your work, on your relationships, on your peace of mind. But here's the twist, and it's the core of this entire book. Focus feels harder today because it is, but that doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've been trained, conditioned to live distracted, which means you can be retrained. Your focus can be rebuilt. Your brain can be reprogrammed. Your habits can be rewired. And that's what we're going to do. In the chapters ahead, we'll dig into the exact forces that hijack your focus. Dopamine loops, multitasking myths, sleep loss, digital architecture, even breath patterns. And we'll break them down into practical, science-backed strategies to rebuild your ability to concentrate. Because the most powerful skill in the 21st century? Unbreakable focus. Let's start reclaiming it, one page at a time. Next up, why your brain craves distraction and how the world's most addictive devices exploit that craving. Chapter 2: Why Your Brain Craves Distraction. Have you ever sat down to do something meaningful, like write, read, or even just think, and within minutes you're scrolling? You didn't mean to. You didn't plan it. But suddenly you're halfway through a TikTok about someone's dog learning to surf, and you can't remember what you were doing before. It feels automatic. But it's not. It's engineered. And it all starts in your brain. We like to think of focus as a character trait, something you're either born with or not. But at its core, focus is biology. It's chemistry. It's electricity. It's a balance between neurochemicals that either help your brain lock on or latch off. And here's where things get real. Right now, the most powerful companies in the world, the same ones that make the apps you use every day, are intentionally manipulating that chemistry. Their goal isn't to help you live a better life. It's to keep your attention, because your attention is their profit. To understand how they pull this off, we need to introduce the neurochemical trinity of attention. Dopamine, the motivation and reward molecule. Norepinephrine, the arousal and alertness chemical. Acetylcholine, the laser pointer, the sharp focus signal. When these three are working in harmony, your mind feels energized, engaged, and present. You're locked in. But if they're thrown out of balance, if dopamine is artificially spiked, norepinephrine is overstimulated, or acetylcholine is misfiring, your attention fragments. And that's exactly what today's digital environment does. Let's talk dopamine. It's not the pleasure chemical like most people think. It's actually the anticipation chemical. It's what gets you to chase, to seek, to scroll. Every time you get a notification, every time you check for likes, every time you pull to refresh on Instagram or Twitter, now X, dopamine, apps are built on this. Not by accident, by design. They use what's called variable rewards, like slot machines. Sometimes you get a like. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes the next video is hilarious. Sometimes it's boring. That unpredictability, it hijacks your brain. YouTube autoplays the next video. TikTok gives you endless scroll. Instagram shows you a read, even when it's just someone liked a post you were tagged in. Snapchat rewards you for maintaining a streak. Not real communication, but gamified obligation. These are all tools in what's been dubbed the attention economy. And your brain is the currency. Now enter dopamine stacking, a concept explained brilliantly by Dr. Andrew Huberman. Here's the idea. Whenever you layer multiple sources of stimulation, say, scrolling Instagram while eating chips while listening to music, you're stacking dopamine spikes. At first, it feels great. You're stimulated, entertained, buzzing. But over time, your baseline dopamine levels drop. That means the simple, quiet things that used to feel good, like going for a walk, working out, or even reading a book, feel flat. You don't enjoy them the same way anymore. Your brain starts asking, where's the hit? Where's the ping? Why does this feel boring? And that's the trap. By constantly feeding your brain high-stimulation distractions, you're teaching it to need them. You're training yourself to be unfocused. Multitasking while chasing pleasure trains your nervous system to expect constant novelty and zero friction. And the moment something requires effort or delayed gratification, like a challenging work project, a hard conversation, or even prayer, your brain resists. Not because it's lazy, but because it's chemically conditioned to crave distraction. Let's make this practical. We're dopamine traps. They're the behaviors that feel good in the moment, but slowly erode your ability to focus, to sit with discomfort, or to follow through on hard things. Here are a few of the most common. Scrolling social media while eating, checking notifications during workouts, watching YouTube while working on another screen, listening to podcasts while texting, driving, and eating, keeping your phone on the desk during deep work, toggling between 5 tabs, just to check something real quick. It's not that any one of these is evil. The problem is the constant overlap, the stacking, the habit of never letting your brain rest or stay with a single stream of thought. Think of it like this. If you train at the gym while eating candy, talking on the phone, and watching Netflix, would your body adapt? Probably not. Your nervous system is no different. You get better at what you practice. And most of us have been practicing distraction for years. But here's the truth that flips the whole thing. What you repeatedly attend to becomes what your brain craves. If you keep feeding it short-form content, it'll crave more. If you keep checking your phone every few minutes, it'll panic when you don't. But if you start feeding it stillness, single tasking, and slowness, it will start to crave depth again. Neuroplasticity isn't just a buzzword. It's real. Your brain rewires based on repetition. That means your current cravings are a reflection of your training. And the moment you decide to reverse it, to detox, to decouple pleasure from distraction, the rewiring begins. This is why many people who start practicing deep work or meditation find the first few days brutal. It's not because focus is impossible. It's because their brain is detoxing. They're removing the sugar high of distraction and replacing it with the slow burn of presence. And eventually, it feels better than the scroll ever did. So what now? Start identifying your dopamine stacking habits. Where are you layering pleasure on top of pleasure? Where are you rewarding distraction instead of presence? Then begin decoupling those pairings. Try walking without a podcast. Try working out without your phone. Try eating without a screen. Try focusing on a single task, not as a productivity hack, but as a form of neural rehab. You'll feel resistance at first. That's okay. That's your brain adjusting to a new normal. It's detoxing from overstimulation. But keep going, because what's waiting on the other side isn't just more productivity. It's mental peace. It's the ability to enjoy a quiet moment, to think clearly, to follow through, to focus. You've trained distraction. That's why it feels so natural. But with repetition, you can train depth. And before long, depth will be what feels natural again. Next up, the multitasking myth, the science of attention residue, and why switching between tasks is slowly draining your brain power. Let's expose a lie that doing more means doing better, and rebuild your attention span to the power of single-task focus. Chapter 3. Multitasking is a lie. Let's kill a myth right now. You're not multitasking. You're not crushing it by juggling 5 things at once. You're not a high performer because you have 17 tabs open and 3 conversations going. You're context switching. Rapidly, frantically, inefficiently, and it's costing you everything. Multitasking sounds like a skill, a badge of honor, a flex. We say things like, I'm great at multitasking in job interviews, as if it's something to be proud of. We eat while checking email. We text while watching Netflix. We brainstorm while browsing Instagram, replying to Slack messages, and squeezing in voice notes. But neuroscience has a different take. Multitasking doesn't exist, not in the way we think. What we call multitasking is actually serial task switching, moving your attention back and forth between different tasks rapidly. And every switch comes at a cost. It's called attention residue, a term coined by psychologist Dr. Sophie Leroy. Here's how it works. Imagine you're writing a report. Halfway through a thought, you check a text. It takes 15 seconds. No big deal, right? Wrong. Even after you return to your report, a portion of your mind is still clinging to that text conversation. Your brain leaves a residue of attention behind. Little threads of mental energy still processing what you just saw. And that residue makes your current task harder. It slows you down, muddies your thinking, increases mistakes. The more you switch, the more residue you accumulate. And over time, your attention becomes like a glass smudge with fingerprints, blurry, scattered, unable to focus clearly on anything. Dr. Leroy found that even short interruptions can impair your performance on high-focus tasks. And here's the kicker. You don't even have to respond to the interruption. Just seeing a notification or mentally thinking about switching is enough to leave a trace. Now layer that with what Stanford researchers discovered. In a now famous study, Clifford Nass and his team compared heavy-medium multitaskers to people who kept their digital consumption minimal. You'd think the multitaskers would perform better, right? Wrong again. They performed worse across the board. Worse at filtering distractions. Worse at remembering key information. Worse at task switching. Yes, the thing they thought they were good at. As Dr. Nass put it, they're suckers for irrelevancy. Everything distracts them. Their brains have been trained not for focus, not for prioritization, but for constant compulsive shifting. They weren't faster. They were more chaotic. And their attention paid the price. If you've ever wondered why your brain feels foggy after a long day of jumping between emails, chats, social feeds, and shallow tasks, this is it. Here's the brutal truth. Multitasking makes you dumber. Not permanently, but in the moment. Studies show that switching between tasks can lower your effective IQ by up to 10 points. That's the same cognitive hit as staying up all night. Now multiply that by the hundreds of times you switch tasks every day, and you start to see why so many people feel scattered, exhausted, and unproductive, even after being busy for hours. The problem isn't effort. It's fragmentation. Your brain was never meant to operate like a browser with 37 tabs open, all auto-refreshing. So what's the solution? Depth, exclusivity, simplicity. And that starts with single tasking, doing one thing at a time with full attention. Sounds boring, right? In a world that glorifies hustle and chaos, single tasking almost feels lazy. But it's not. It's elite. Because when you stop dividing your brain, your power multiplies. That's why high performers, people like Cal Newport, deep work author and computer science professor, design their days around uninterrupted blocks of time. Not because they hate stimulation, but because they understand the cost of switching. This is where time blocking comes in. Instead of reacting to whatever grabs your attention next, you assign your focus in advance. 9 to 10:30, write chapter. 10:30 to 10:45, break. 10:45 to 11:30, admin emails. 11:30 to 1 o'clock, project research. Each block has a purpose, a focus, and during that time, nothing else exists. That may sound intense, but it's freeing because you no longer rely on willpower to resist distractions. You've already made the decision. Now you just protect it. Another essential concept is batching the shallow. Not every task deserves deep focus. Checking email, returning DMs, uploading files. These are important, but not deep. So group them, stack them, do them all in one chunk, so they don't bleed into your deep work like attention leeches. Cal Newport calls this the chainsaw method. You rev the engine, do the job, and shut it off. You don't let it idle all day, wasting fuel. You don't check email 53 times. You do it once or twice on purpose. And when you're done, you're done. This frees up mental space for the work that matters. The stuff that requires creativity, clarity, and commitment. Now, let's make this personal. Think about your last workday. How many times did you switch tasks midstream? How often did you check your phone just to see what's up? How many browser tabs are open right now? Each one of those micro shifts left a fingerprint on your focus. Each one cost you clarity. But here's the good news. Just like distraction is trained, depth can be retrained. Start small. Try a 25-minute block of focus work, Pomodoro style. Put your phone in another room. Close every app and tab except the one you're using. Batch shallow tasks to the end of the day. Protect your mornings for high-focus work. You don't need perfect discipline. You need better defaults. And here's the promise. The more you single task, the easier it becomes. The silence gets less scary. The boredom fades. And what replaces it? Flow, clarity, pride, momentum. Depth demands exclusivity. You can't go deep if you're always shallow. You can't build something great if your brain is busy checking in every 30 seconds to see if it's been liked. Multitasking is a lie. But deep work is truth. It's peace. It's power. And it's yours if you're willing to slow down long enough to reclaim it. Next up, how to detox your digital world and stop feeding distraction with dopamine. It's time to clear the stage so your attention can finally take center spotlight. Chapter 4, Digital Detox, Dopamine Discipline. Let's be honest. Your phone knows more about you than most of your friends do. It knows when you're bored, when you're anxious, when you're lonely, hungry, restless, or tired. And it has a solution for every one of those moments. Dopamine. Swipe, like, scroll, buy, repeat. But here's the cost. The more you stimulate your brain with easy pleasure, the harder it becomes to enjoy anything that requires effort. Let's break this down. Dopamine isn't evil. It's essential. It's the neurochemical that drives motivation and reward-seeking behavior. It's what helps you pursue goals, learn new skills, and take action. But here's where it gets tricky. Dopamine is not just about the high. It's about the baseline. When you flood your system with constant hits of dopamine, whether through TikTok, sugar, notifications, or even binge-watching Netflix, your brain raises its baseline. That means the things that used to feel good, like reading, walking, or having conversation, now feel boring. The contrast is too steep. This is dopamine adaptation, and it's real. Dr. Andrew Huberman explains it like this. If you spike dopamine too often, your baseline drops. And when your baseline is low, motivation and pleasure disappear, even from things you used to love. The result? A restless, scrolling, unsatisfied life, always chasing, rarely arriving. That's why reclaiming focus starts with resetting your brain's reward system. Not forever, not with guilt, but with discipline. Enter the digital detox. Now, before you roll your eyes, no, this isn't about throwing your phone in a lake or moving to a cabin in the woods. This is about creating space for clarity. It's about retraining your nervous system to respond to slower, deeper, more meaningful rewards. Because here's the truth. You can't think deeply in a loud room. And your digital environment, it's screaming at you all day. So we start by turning down the volume. 1. Notification triage. You don't need more willpower. You need fewer pings. Go into your phone settings. Turn off every non-essential notification. That means no Instagram likes, no Facebook comments, no someone you follow just went live, no email buzzes every 5 minutes, no weather alerts unless you're flying a plane. Here's your rule. If a notification doesn't require immediate action in real life, it's noise. Silence it. You won't miss it, and your brain will thank you. 2. Screen boundaries. You need guardrails. Without them, your phone becomes a black hole of time and attention. Try these. No phones in the bedroom. Use a cheap alarm clock. Sleep like a human. Create phone-free zones. Meals. Walks. Work blocks. Protect these like sacred ground. Set app timers. Most phones let you limit use per app. Start with 30 minutes for social media. Watch how fast it burns up and how much time you reclaim. Use grayscale mode. Turn your screen black and white. It makes the dopamine hits less exciting, and your usage drops fast. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is pattern interruption. You're creating friction so that the mindless scroll becomes a mindful choice. 3. Dopamine fast light version. You don't need to go full monk. You just need to break the cycle. Pick one app, maybe Instagram, maybe YouTube, maybe Reddit, and remove it from your phone for 7 days. Not because it's evil, because your brain needs silence to remember what real focus feels like. You'll notice something strange in the first few days. Boredom. Good. That's your nervous system detoxing. And guess what? On the other side of boredom is clarity, imagination, creativity, rest. You just have to stay still long enough for it to find you. 4. Intentional boredom. This one sounds weird, but it works. Instead of cramming every spare second with stimulation, try leaving space. Stand in line without checking your phone. Sit on the couch with no TV. Take a walk with no headphones. Let your brain breathe. The mind, when left unstimulated, will eventually begin to wander inward, to reflect, to process, to heal. This is how ideas are born. This is how insight emerges. But it only happens when we stop smothering every moment with novelty. Huberman's rule, no pleasure add-ons. One of the simplest but most effective pieces of advice from Andrew Huberman is this. Stop adding dopamine to everything. You don't need music during every workout. You don't need a podcast while answering emails. You don't need coffee, TikTok, and Spotify just to get through folding laundry. Each layer of stimulation makes your baseline worse. So start stripping them away. Let hard things be hard. Let boring things be boring. Let your brain relearn patience and reward. The more you do this, the more your nervous system stabilizes. You'll feel less jittery, more content, more focused. The challenge: pick one app or platform. Remove it for 7 days. Tell no one. Track nothing. Just observe. How often do you reach for it? What emotions come up when it's gone? What do you notice in your focus, sleep, or mood? You'll be shocked, not just at how much time you get back, but how much mental noise disappears. That space, that stillness, it's where depth grows. The truth: subtraction is your superpower. We keep trying to add more focus tools, more productivity hacks, more apps to block other apps. But what if the real answer is more? What if it's less? Less noise, less stimulation, less artificial pleasure. Because when you subtract the cheap hits, you start to feel the real ones again. A deep breath, a moment of peace, the joy of finishing something hard. This isn't about becoming anti-tech. It's about becoming pro-attention. Your brain was never designed for this much noise, but it is capable of adapting. And every choice to remove the clutter is a step toward clarity. Next up, the forgotten power of routines, rituals, and rhythm, and how building a focus-friendly environment can change your brain without you even trying. Let's build your world to support your attention, not sabotage it. Chapter 5, The Focus Fitness Plan. What if I told you focus isn't a gift some people are born with? What if I told you it's just like strength, endurance, or flexibility, a skill built through training, reps, and rest? Focus is a muscle, and most of us have been letting it atrophy. The good news? Muscles rebuild when you put them under the right kind of stress. The bad news? Most of us have been training the opposite. We've been flexing our distraction muscle every day. But today, we flip the script. You're going to stop hoping for better focus and start training for it. No more waiting for the right mood. No more blaming the noisy world. Because as Cal Newport says, in a distracted world, deep work is a superpower. So let's build your superpower. Focus training equals fitness training. Think about how you'd train for a marathon or a weightlifting goal. You wouldn't run 20 miles on day one. You wouldn't squat 300 pounds on your first workout. You'd start small. You'd build progressively. You'd rest between sessions. And over time, your capacity would grow. Focus works the same way. If you haven't done a deep 90-minute work block in years, don't expect your brain to sit still for that long right away. Instead, start with short, focus blocks. Let your brain build endurance. Start with 25, the Pomodoro Principle. One of the simplest ways to begin is the Pomodoro Technique. 25 minutes of deep work, 5-minute break. Repeat. Why 25 minutes? Because for most people, it's long enough to make progress, but short enough to feel doable. It lowers resistance. It gets you moving. Set a timer. Silence distractions. Pick one task. When the timer starts, so does your focus. No switching. No notifications. No multitasking. When the timer ends, stop. Rest. Walk. Stretch. Then go again. Build to 90. Ultradian rhythms. But we're not stopping at 25. Your body and brain work in natural ultradian cycles. About 90 minutes of peak focus before needing a break. This is backed by Neuroscience. The goal is to work your way up to 90-minute deep focus blocks, followed by a longer 15 to 20-minute break. This is your mental gym session. 25 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. Build up week by week. Push your focus capacity. Rest deeply between blocks. Like progressive overload in the gym, the point is to stretch your limits, not stay where it's comfortable. Goal-oriented monotasking. Here's the rule. One task, one goal, one block. If you're writing, write. If you're coding, code. If you're designing, design. No side conversations, no tab switching, no. I'll just check this real quick. This is monotasking with purpose. It's not about working longer. It's about working deeper. The deeper you go, the faster your brain learns to lock in. Track the wins. Visual progress builds dopamine. Your brain loves to win. It loves to see progress. So give it some. Use a simple checklist, habit tracker, or calendar to mark off each completed focus block. Every check mark releases a little hit of dopamine, the good kind, the kind that reinforces effort, not distraction. This is how you build momentum. Day 1, one 25-minute focus block complete? Check. Day 3, two 40-minute blocks complete? Check, check. Day 7, first full 90-minute block? Massive win. Check, check, check. Gamify your growth. Make progress visible. This isn't childish. It's neuroscience. Rest is part of the plan. This is where most people fail. They try to focus for hours without breaks. They think longer equals better. But like a muscle, your brain needs rest to recover and adapt. After a deep block, take a real break. Get outside. Move your body. Breathe deeply. Eat something nourishing. Leave the screens behind. Think of breaks as reloading your mental ammo. They're not a waste of time. They're how you hit the next block even harder. What this looks like in practice. Week 1, 1 to 2 Pomodoro blocks per day. Start small. 25-minute focus / 5-minute break. Week 2, move to 40-minute focus, 10-minute breaks. Week 3 to 4, push to 60-minute deep blocks. Optional. Try one 90-minute block in the morning when energy is highest. Beyond, aim for 90-minute peak blocks plus shallow work batch later. Every week, you'll notice the same tasks that used to feel draining start to flow easier. Focus becomes your default, not your exception. Focus is a feeling, it's a framework. Stop waiting to feel focused. That feeling is rare. Instead, build a framework that makes focus happen whether you feel like it or not. Timers, clear goals, distraction-free blocks, visible wins, intentional rest. That's the focus fitness plan. And once you experience what deep work feels like, once you finish in 90 minutes what used to take all day, once you stop scrolling and start producing, you'll never want to go back. Takeaway: focus is a decision backed by structure. Train it like a muscle, and it will carry you further than motivation ever could. Next up, how your breath, body, and brainwaves unlock deeper concentration. Focus isn't just mental, it's physical. And when you learn to control your physiology, your mind will follow. Chapter 6, Breath, Body, and Brainwaves. When was the last time you paid attention to your breathing while working? Or notice your posture during a moment of deep focus? If your answer is rarely or never, you're missing one of the most overlooked focus tools on the planet, your body. Focus isn't just about your mind. It's about your physiology, your breath, your heart rate, your muscle tension. All of these directly impact your brain's ability to lock in. If your body is tense, shallow breathing, and jittery, your mind will reflect that. But if your body is calm, centered, and energized, your brain follows. Why physiology shapes focus. Neuroscience tells us that focus relies on noradrenaline, acetylcholine, and dopamine. But those chemicals don't operate in a vacuum. They're triggered, amplified, and balanced by your nervous system state. If your body is in fight or flight, shallow breathing, tense muscles, darting eyes, your brain is primed for survival, not focus. But if your body is in a calm, alert state, your brain can enter deep concentration. This is the difference between scattered energy and steady power. The power of breathwork. One of the fastest ways to shift your nervous system is through intentional breathing. In fact, researchers at Trinity College Dublin found that slow, controlled breathing increases levels of noradrenaline, a key chemical for alertness and attention. Andrew Huberman explains it this way. Your breathing is a remote control for your brain. Fast, shallow breathing triggers stress. Slow, controlled breathing promotes calm focus. Try the simple physiological sigh, one of Huberman's go-to tools. Take a long inhale through your nose. Pause briefly. Take a second. Quick inhale on top of the first one. Slowly exhale fully through your mouth. Do this 2 to 3 times in a row. You'll feel your body calm almost instantly. Movement creates mental energy. Your body wasn't designed to sit for 10 hours straight. Movement boosts circulation. oxygenates your brain, and activates your focus systems. Even short bursts of movement can shift your brainwaves from foggy to clear. Here's your focus-friendly movement formula. Before deep work, 2 to 5 minutes of light cardio, walk, jumping jacks, air squats. During breaks, stand up, stretch, shake out your arms, roll your neck. Afternoon slump, take a brisk 5 to 10 minute walk outside. No phone, no podcast. It doesn't need to be a workout, just movement. Your brain craves it. Brainwaves and focus states. Your brain operates in different frequency states, depending on what you're doing. Delta, 0.5 to 4 hertz deep sleep. Theta, 4 to 8 hertz daydreaming meditation flow. Alpha, 8 to 12 hertz relaxed wakefulness. Beta, 12 to 30 hertz focus attention problem solving. Gamma, 30 plus hertz peak cognition deep learning. For focus, you're aiming for low to mid beta, sometimes dipping into alpha during flow states. What shifts your brain into these zones? Breathing, movement, and intentional stillness. Build a 1-minute focus reset. You don't need a 30-minute meditation to reset your brain. Try this before a focus block. 1. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. 2. Hold for 2 seconds. 3. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. 4. Roll your shoulders back. Relax your jaw. 5. Look at something 20 plus feet away for 10 to 20 seconds to reset your visual system. 1 minute later, your body is calmer, your mind is clearer, and your focus systems are primed. Calm the body, focus the brain. If you're constantly trying to force focus with sheer willpower, it's like trying to steer a car with flat tires. But when your body is aligned, breath slow, muscles relaxed, energy balanced, focus flows effortlessly. It's not magic, it's biology. The takeaway: your brain isn't floating in space. It's connected to your body. So start treating your body like a focus tool. Breathe deeply before work. Move your body between blocks. Relax your muscles during stress. Step outside when your mind feels foggy. These aren't extra habits. They're foundational. Next up, your environment. Because even the most disciplined brain will struggle in a world full of visual clutter and digital noise. Let's build spaces that whisper, "Be here now." Chapter 7. Design for deep work. If your environment is chaotic, your mind will be too. You can have all the productivity apps, focus hacks, and neuroscience protocols in the world. But if you sit down to work in a noisy, cluttered, distraction-filled environment, your focus won't stand a chance. Because your environment isn't neutral. It's training your brain every second you're in it. The question is, what is your space training you to do? Focus or flinch? The environment-behavior link. James Clear says it well. Environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. Walk into a gym, you feel like exercising. Walk into a library, your voice softens. Walk into your kitchen, you start snacking, even if you weren't hungry. Environments carry cues. And those cues trigger habits, emotions, and mental states. So if your desk is cluttered, your phone is buzzing, and your workspace is also your entertainment zone, your brain associates that space with everything but focus. Build a focus zone. A focus zone is a physical or digital space where your only job is to do deep work. It doesn't have to be fancy. It has to be intentional. Here's how to build yours. Physically, clear your desk. Fewer objects equals fewer triggers. Remove anything unrelated to your current task. Add one visual cue that reminds you to focus. A quote, an object, or even a sticky note saying, "Be here now." Face a blank wall or clean backdrop to minimize visual noise. Put your phone in another room, or at least out of sight. Use noise-canceling headphones or white noise to block background noise. Digitally, close every app except the one you need. Yes, every one. Use full screen mode. Kill the tabs. Turn your phone on Do Not Disturb or Focus mode. Install site blockers if needed. Freedom Cold Turkey, Leech Block. Set your browser homepage to a blank page or a focus quote, not the news or social media. Digital architecture. Friction is your friend. We normally design our tech for ease of use. But when it comes to distraction, friction is your superpower. Make it harder to get distracted. Delete social media apps from your phone. Only access them on a computer. Log out of platforms after using them. Add a password manager. So logging in takes a few extra steps. Move entertainment apps off your home screen. Create a separate user profile for deep work with no distractions installed. The harder it is to open the distraction, the less likely you'll default to it. Ritualize your work start. Want to prime your brain for focus fast? Create a pre-work ritual. Something simple you do every time before a deep work session. It could be taking a deep breath and saying your goal out loud, sipping a specific tea or coffee, putting on your headphones, cleaning your desk surface, writing down your top task for the session. It's not the ritual itself that matters. It's what it signals to your brain. Now we focus. Remove the visual clutter. Your brain is always scanning your environment. If your workspace is filled with random books, receipts, chargers, toys, or yesterday's dishes, your attention keeps getting pulled sideways. Rule of thumb, if it's not helping you focus, it's hurting you. Clean your space before you work. Not perfect, just clear. Enough to remove friction. Tech tip, use Do Not Disturb like a force field. Most people use Do Not Disturb as a nice to have. What if you use it like a force field? Set automatically during work blocks. Whitelist only essential contacts, family, boss, emergencies. Everything else waits until your block is done. Protect your mental space like your life depends on it. Because your best work does. Make focus the default, not the effort. The goal of all of this isn't to white-knuckle your way through distractions. It's to design an environment where focus is a default and distraction takes effort. When your space is set up right, focus stops feeling like a grind. It becomes natural, almost automatic. Your job then becomes simple. Protect the space. Keep it clear. Show up consistently. The environment will do the rest. The takeaway. Your space whispers to your brain all day long. Make sure it's saying, "Be here now." Next up, focus isn't one size fits all. Let's talk about how to personalize your attention rhythms, adapt to life seasons, and build a system that fits you. Because flexibility, not rigidity, is what makes focus sustainable long-term. Chapter 8. Personalizing your focus flow. Let's get one thing straight. There is no perfect routine, no universal focus formula, no morning ritual that fits every season of life. The internet is flooded with productivity influencers preaching rigid schedules. 4 a.m. wake-ups, 90-minute deep work blocks, cold plunges before breakfast. And while those might work for them, they may not work for you because life changes. Energy levels shift. Kids wake up early. Work seasons intensify. Stress, illness, vacation, they all shake your routine. So instead of chasing the perfect system, you need to build a flexible rhythm, one that adjusts to your life, your energy, your season. Find your focus rhythm. Everyone has a unique focus rhythm. Some people lock in during the quiet morning hours. Others hit their stride late at night. Some people thrive on 90-minute deep blocks. Others burn out after 30. Neither is right or wrong. What matters is awareness. So ask yourself, when do I feel sharpest? Morning, afternoon, or evening? How long can I focus before my energy fades? 20, 45, 90 minutes? What environments help me focus most easily? Silent room? Coffee shop buzz? Outdoors? Start with your natural rhythm. Then build your routines around it. The minimum/ideal/ultimate framework. On your best days, you might crush a 90-minute focus block. Clear your inbox and create a new business plan. On your worst days, getting through 20 distraction-free minutes feels like a win. And that's okay. Instead of chasing perfection every day, build your plan with tiers. Minimum focus block. The absolute smallest one you'll accept. Maybe 10 to 15 minutes of deep work. This is your keep the habit alive level for tough days. Ideal focus block. Your regular sweet spot. Maybe 45 to 60 minutes of focus work with a break after. This is your normal work rhythm. Ultimate focus block. Your peak performance. A full 90-minute deep work session with full energy and clarity. Aim for this a few times a week, not every day. This framework gives you grace without excuse. You're not skipping focus because life got hard. You're adjusting the dial. Templates for life seasons. Your focus routine will change with the seasons of life. Here are a few examples. Busy work season. Shorter focus blocks, more batching of shallow tasks. Early morning or late night deep work, when meetings fill the day. Parenting chaos season. Nap time sprints or focus blocks before the house wakes up. Minimum effective deep work and lots of forgiveness. Creative flow season. Longer, looser work blocks when inspiration strikes. Fewer boundaries, more room to chase ideas. Burnout recovery season. Super short focus blocks. 10 minutes is a win. More rest, less pressure. Let clarity rebuild slowly. The point is, adapt, don't abandon. Your system, your life. Don't fall for comparison traps. You don't need to be the next Cal Newport or James Clear. You need to be the next you, the more focused, present version of yourself. If working 4 hours a day in 30-minute blocks works for your life, great. If 2 90-minute sessions fit your world, perfect. The only wrong system is the one you quit, because it doesn't fit your life. Permission to iterate. Most people quit their focus practice because they miss a day or 5. They think, I failed, so they stop. But the truth is, mastery isn't built on perfection. It's built on iteration. Adjust your routine when life changes. Scale it down when energy is low. Push it further when you feel strong. The only rule? Keep showing up. The takeaway. Flexibility keeps you focused long-term. Rigid systems break when life gets messy. Flexible systems bend, adjust, and keep you moving forward. Focus is a rhythm, not a prison. You don't force it, you flow with it. Next up, why focus without purpose falls flat, and how aligning your attention with your bigger mission makes deep work meaningful, not just productive. Let's shift from hustle to alignment. Chapter 9. Focus with Purpose. Let's ask the question most productivity books skip. Why does focus matter? Not just so you can get more done. Not just so you can work faster. Not just so you can win the hustle game. But why does it matter to you? Because here's the truth. Focus without purpose burns out fast. You can build the perfect system, crush your to-do list, and still feel empty if you're not aiming your attention at something meaningful. Focus without purpose is just activity. But focus with purpose? That's alignment. And alignment is where fulfillment lives. The dopamine of meaningful work. Neuroscience backs this up. Andrew Huberman explains that dopamine levels spike highest when your effort is tied to progress toward a meaningful goal. Not random busyness. Not mindless grinding. Meaningful progress. When you connect your focus blocks to something you care about, your family, your craft, your calling, your brain wants to lock in. You stop forcing focus and start feeling pulled by it. Focus is love in action. Let's zoom out. When you focus on your work, what happens? Deadlines get hit. Clients get served. Problems get solved. You earn trust, build impact, and support your family. When you focus on your relationships, what happens? People feel seen, heard, loved. Your presence becomes a gift. When you focus on your craft, your art, your health, your growth, what happens? You become more of who you were created to be. Focus isn't just mental discipline. It's love in action. Love for your work. Love for your people. Love for your future self. Set micro-purposes for each focus block. Purpose doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing mission. It can be simple. I'm writing this report so my team has clarity. I'm finishing this project so I can shut down at 5 p.m. and be present with my family. I'm learning this skill so I can grow into the person I want to become. Attach a why to every focus block. Because when your mind knows why you're doing what you're doing, it's far easier to stay locked in when distractions come knocking. Who benefits when you focus? This is where focus becomes bigger than productivity. Ask yourself, who benefits when I give my full attention? Who misses out when I don't? Your family feels a difference when you leave work at work. Your team feels a difference when you show up prepared not scattered. Your audience, your customers, your community, they all feel the ripple of your presence. And guess what? So, do you? Because life feels better when you're fully in it. Not half scrolling, half working, half living. The difference between activity and alignment. Activity is checking boxes. Alignment is checking in with your bigger mission. Activity says, did I work hard today? Alignment asks, did I work toward what matters most today? It's easy to be busy and still be lost. It's easy to be productive and still be purposeless. Alignment takes reflection, intention, heart. But when you find it, when you connect your daily focus to your life's mission, you will discover that the work itself feels lighter, clearer, fuller. Identity-based focus. There's one more layer to this. The strongest form of motivation isn't goal-based. It's identity-based. Instead of saying, I want to be focused, say, I am a focused person. Instead of saying, I want to write a book, say, I am a writer. Your actions flow from your identity. So ask yourself, who do I want to become? And what would that version of me focus on today? When your focus aligns with your identity, distractions lose their power. The takeaway, focus is more than a skill. It's how you live out your purpose. You're not just training your brain to block distractions. You're training your life to point toward what matters most. Every focus moment is a seed. Every distraction resisted is a step toward clarity. Every deep work block is an act of becoming who you're meant to be. Next up, it's time for action. Let's build your focus challenge, a step-by-step plan to turn these ideas into daily momentum. Whether you're a beginner or already deep in your journey, you'll walk away with a practical roadmap to make focus your new normal. Chapter 10, The Focus Rebuild Challenge. You've learned the science. You've unpacked the sabotage. You've built the plan. Now it's time to live it, because knowledge without action is just shelf help. But action? That's where change happens. So here's your Focus Rebuild Challenge, a simple, practical plan to help you apply what you've learned over the next 14 days. Not a lifetime commitment, not a forever plan, just a jumpstart. The 14-day Focus Reboot. Start wherever you are. Build from there. Tier 1, Beginner Focus, day 1 to 3. 10 minutes of deep work per day, single tasking only. 5 minutes of intentional breathing before your work block. Remove notifications from your phone's home screen. Reflect each night. What distracted me today? Tier 2, Intermediate Focus, day 4 to 7. Increase deep work to 25 to 30 minutes. Add a second work block if possible. Remove one app or platform for the rest of the week. Build a simple morning ritual. Breathe. Set your focus goal. Begin. Reflect. When did I feel most present today? Tier 3, Deep Focus, day 8 to 14. Push for 60 to 90-minute deep work blocks, 1 to 2 per day. Schedule a screen-free hour in your day. Use time blocking for your key tasks. Practice intentional boredom. 5 minutes of nothing but breathing and thinking. Reflect. What did I create today that mattered? Track it. See it. Celebrate it. Progress is fuel. Use a simple notebook, habit tracker, or calendar to mark off each successful day. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for presence. Every check mark is proof you're changing. If you miss a day, you didn't fail. You reset. The goal isn't 14 perfect days. The goal is to build a habit of returning to focus, no matter how many times you drift. How to handle the hard days. Spoiler, you'll get distracted. You'll have days when your focus sucks. You'll fall back into scrolling, email rabbit holes, or multi-tab chaos. When that happens, 1, pause, breathe. 2, reset your space. 3, start the smallest focus block you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Progress resumes the moment you return to it, not when you feel like it, when you choose it. Habit stacking tips. 1, make your focus stick. Attach it to an existing habit. Right after your morning coffee, start a 10-minute deep work block. Before lunch, close all your tabs and do a 1-minute breathing reset. After your afternoon walk, block 30 distraction-free minutes to finish your top task. The easier it is to start, the more likely you'll repeat it. Journal prompts to anchor the journey. At the end of each day, reflect. What was my biggest distraction today? When did I feel most focused? Who or what benefited from my focus today? What's one thing I'll change tomorrow? Reflection isn't fluff. It's how your brain learns from your experience. The big picture. This isn't a 14-day challenge just to pat yourself on the back. This is the first rep in a lifetime of building clarity over chaos. You won't win every battle, but every time you return to focus, you grow stronger. That's the win, your challenge mantra. Every time I return, I grow stronger. Because real focus isn't uninterrupted perfection. It's the habit of returning when you drift. Again, and again, and again. What happens after 14 days? You keep going. Maybe you build a new challenge. 30 days of 60-minute deep work blocks. Maybe you scale it back to a sustainable rhythm. Maybe you double down on breath work, environment, or dopamine discipline. The journey doesn't end, but now you've got momentum. Final takeaway. Focus isn't given. It's trained, and you just started your training. You won't always feel like it, but the more you practice, the more it becomes who you are. Final words. Your attention is your life. Spend it wisely. Conclusion. This is just a beginning. Let's pause. Take a deep breath. You just traveled to the noise of modern life, the algorithms, the multitasking myths, the dopamine loops, and come out the other side with something rare. Clarity. You've learned that your scattered focus wasn't a personal flaw. It was a result of living in an environment designed to fracture your attention. But you've also learned something deeper. Your focus is trainable. Your habits are changeable. Your mind is adaptable. And now you have the tools. Remember this. You are not broken. You are busy. But you are in control now. Focus isn't about forcing your brain to work harder. It's about designing your life to protect what matters most. Every focus moment is a win. Every distraction resisted is a muscle built. Every deep work session is a rebellion against a shallow world. So what you do now, start small, stay consistent, and let the 1% wins stack up. Tomorrow morning, don't wait to feel motivated. Pick one focus block and start. Turn off one notification. Breathe for 1 minute before you begin. Win the moment, then win the next. Over time, you'll notice the noise fades. The stillness feels less scary. And your ability to think clearly, work deeply, and live fully will return. Not perfectly, but consistently. Because here's the secret. This isn't the end. It's the start of your rhythm. Your attention is your life. And you've just taken the first steps to spend it well. Final challenge. Share what you've learned. Model it for your family, your team, your friends. Be the person in the room who's fully present, not half distracted, not half scrolling. But here, presence is rare. Presence is powerful. Be that person. And if this book helped you, I invite you to join us on this journey. Subscribe to Better Life Library on YouTube. That's BBL, where we go deeper into these topics every week. Hit like, leave a comment. We do our best to respond to every single one. Tell us what hit home and what didn't. Your feedback is fuel for this mission. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Guard it, train it, and point it toward what truly matters. Stay focused, stay free, and I'll see you on the journey.